this month in comics.
I got you covered.
But what you got?
It's a fantastic book.
Damn it. What did you do?
I'll find you a book for it.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
How's it going? This is Sean David Hill. Reminding you to check out QUESTionaire, one of the premium podcasts that you need to listen to right now. Every Sunday at 7 p.m.
Yo, Factor.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Hey, Factor, come on, man. Let's get going. Yo, Factor, it's this month in comics, man.
Damn it, Dave. I'm trying to edit. But you're right. Yeah, I am the Unknown Factor, ladies and gentlemen. This is this month in comics. Dave's got that on point. But look, like I said, man, Sean, I said rock, paper, scissors, and he said brick. And Sean wins. You know?
He said brick.
He did. Sean said brick. Sean wins. You know? I think Sean might have a couple of issues too. But that's beside the point.
Lizard, scissors, Spock.
Yeah. You know, so yeah. That was dope. Right? But check out Sean's quest he just went on with us, right? Make sure I'm gonna have to move the Red Hulk. We better be careful, man. Harrison Ford might come out and whoop my ass. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Much love to William Hurt. May he rest in peace. I'm kind of sad not to get him to see him reach the peak with General Ross to be able to play the Red Hulk. I do think
that would have been great.
Yeah, I think they recast that phenomenally though. As far as with Harrison Ford, I think he'll do well. But I mean, if we're gonna bring up Sean and it's this month in comics, I still need to read this, bro.
Oh yeah, Bishop War College going on.
Yeah, dude. Look, I've been loving this series. I can't lie. Like it's like I told Sean, and y'all can like check this during his interview. And I told him after the interview, like, look, dude, I mean this sincerely because I wanted him to understand. I wasn't just trying to glow and be like, oh, dude, you're doing this phenomenally. But he really captured the essence of Bishop, who is one of my two favorite X-Men, him and Wade, obviously, you know, because they have a similar backstory as far as they were both kind of shoved in a rut and told, screw you, you won't work. You're no. But then there always comes a situation where you need Wade or you need Bishop.
Yep.
You know? And he really caught that essence of this with his art in that comic, man. It's been phenomenal. And the story that Holtman is writing, I had to grab it. He ain't been on the show yet. Holtman, you should come on. I really want to talk that story with you too, and everything else you do. That's besides the point. He's really weaving a good story that is something you can pick up if you're a fan of the X-Men. That you don't have to know everything, and I know that's something you and I have. Yeah, dude, it's not like I don't feel like it's as hard to pick up as say like that X-Force graphic that I did. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot that goes on, and actually, I'm going to be touching base on an X-Men series tonight. Yeah, I talked about the first issue in that series, and it's the last issue of the Sins of Sinister came out this week, and so we've got 3 months of the Sins of Sinister, and I'll be talking about that in a little while.
They better be dropping that all in one nice little collection I can pick up, or I'm going to be...
Oh, they totally will. They'll be coming out just in time for the Hellfire Gala this summer.
All right, because I totally do intend to pick that up in graphic novel. Just, a lot of comics come out on a monthly basis. And but that's
a lot of comics.
That's definitely one I wanted to read based on what you said. But I mean, for real, dude, that Bishop War College, it's just nice to see, like, because I know that character has had a lot of very heavy story arcs. Like, if you know the history of the X-Men, there are points where if it wasn't for Bishop, they probably would have all died. There's a couple times.
Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, well,
and he was the only one that knew what was going on.
But at the same time, he kind of caused. Well, no, I mean, he's kind of an issue that made that sort of start a little bit. I mean, I know technically it was more Legion than him, but he kind of made it to where it went the way that it did, as opposed to how it would have went if Legion would have pulled off what he wanted to, But he was very much the only dude there and I loved his character in that, dude. And I love this as far as how they've got him here, because they've got a point where he's walking through and seeing every iteration of himself, and that's included. when he was in the Age of Apocalypse. Like, you see Bishop just through the decades, and it was really cool. And again, Sean did it really, really well as far as just playing that character, man. Check out Sean's interview. You can hear me talk more about how much I'm loving his art in that series, because I can't lie, I am, man. I think it very much fits the story for what's being told, which is something I think I discussed with James, man, who's editor, does a lot of work with Erica. I think that's important, that the art fits the story as far as whatever you're reading. You know, I think me and you discussed that a little bit on Last Month in Comics.
We did, because we were talking about Department of Truth. I think we talked about Department of Truth about that. How I think the story is a great story. I just couldn't make the connection with the art. The art seemed too stiff. It seemed too stylized to the point where I couldn't really tell what was going on. And that's why I only read 2 issues of
Department of Truth. That's because you're not crazy enough, Dave. The Department of Truth,
very likely.
The Department of Truth is phenomenal. No wonder you couldn't get into our music, man. We talk about crazy shit like that all the time. Like, literally.
That's very likely.
Right? Yeah, dude. We get into like I have a direct, like, you would have had to have read pretty much all of Department of Truth, but I do play off the Black Hat, which is something they bring up in, I think, issue 6 or 7 or something. I don't know. I have it in graphic novel, so it's volume 1 or 2. I'm not positive. But I think that art went really well with that, man. But, you know,
it worked for me.
Let's flip on something
for everybody.
Yeah, let's flip on something. And you're right, man. Comics are for everyone. Get your comic on, like we said on last month's issue. Regardless, there's something out there you like. But on last month's episode of This Month in Comics, which was released a little late, this one will actually pretty well be on time. Yeah. We got into your Mount Rushmore, Dave.
Yes.
Of writers. Now, I'm thinking that you named more classic writers, right?
Well, I did list, let's see, I had Scott Lobdell, who wrote the majority of the X-Men in the 80s. I had, I'm pretty sure I did mention Wade, Mark Wade. Mark Wade has been around for a long time, and he's like, oh, we need someone to do something. Let's get Mark Wade. He knows how to write. And Mark Wade comes in and just kills it no matter what it's about.
Are you sure that? Oh, yeah. Because I said I wanted to kill Superman with a kryptonite sword. And then Mark Wade can just come in and, like, figure out how to resurrect him, dude. I'm done.
Yeah. And Mark Wade would do it. I mean, I was going through, this week, just looking at all the stuff he's doing, and how much stuff he's basically rewritten the DC universe in the last year and a half. His game changed he did Lazarus Planet, which basically relaunched everything. And, now we're got a completely different universe of DC universe, and that's because he said, I want to do this. And DC said, please make us relevant. Because people are like, oh, there's this great new DC book out, and it's DC the Deceased, like Deceased. And they're like, yeah, there's a bunch of dead DC heroes, and they're zombies and stuff. I said, oh, you mean like Marvel Zombies did 20 years ago? And they're like, well, it's not quite the same thing. I was like, yeah, no, it's pretty much the same thing. Well, then there's DC versus vampires. Okay, so it's the same as zombies, but now it's with vampires. Okay, so, and there's DC, Mecha. Didn't Marvel just do a mech book a year before? But DC, come on, guys. If it's not Harley and if it's not Batman, you guys don't have anything new. Mark Wade come along and said, I got this. Let me just relaunch everything.
Real quick, Dave, we're never going to get any DC artists on this show. I swear on my life.
Oh, no. I would love to see Dan Mora come on. No, the artists are never an issue. I
meant the right. Well, I guess it's more the writers.
DC won't do anything unless it's Batman. They have, right now it's like 80% Batman, 10% Superman. Everything else is miniseries. So if you're not related to one of those two, you're just not getting a series. I mean, give me a sec. Be right back.
Dave's got to run away. While Dave runs away, I just want to say, as far as it concerns to DC, one of my favorite things that they put out in, I don't know, I'd say it's in the past decade. Dave, is that the 5-Minute War?
No, this is books that are coming out from DC.
Oh, okay.
Hey, in the month of June.
Quick though. No, here, real quick before you get into that, I'm saying the Justice League of America that they did, that had the team of what I think it was. And this brings in Batman, but it was Batman, Killer Frost, Lobo. You know the one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What? How long ago was that?
That was in the 90s, I believe.
No, when you're talking about that was like with Lobo and Killer Frost and Batman. It was right after the Justice League Suicide Squad squared off.
I couldn't tell you. I probably wasn't reading it.
Oh, well, it was, I'm going to say it was 2010.
Okay.
Between 2005 and 2010. I don't know without honestly looking, but it was like the Suicide Squad and the Justice League squared off because Waller had like, Black Adam and a couple other different people and this and that. And she had Lobo on the team. My favorite moment in that, and it's honestly probably my favorite Batman moment ever, is he just detonates Lobo's head, right? Because,
he's going to come back.
Lobo, right? And it grows back. Lobo snatches up Batman. It's like, well, and just starts, He's like, look, Waller and this person were controlling you. I blew your head off. He's like, okay.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to deal with you later. But we're good for now. It just puts him down. And then that's my favorite. Like, that's not the slickest move Batman ever pulled. He's like, okay, so I need the indestructible Cesarian on my side. I'm going to blow his head up real quick. So this works.
And then everything will be reset and then it'll be fine. Yeah. Let's see. So I'm going through the list of Batman. So everything that's coming out from DC. Batman, Penguin, Batman book. Batman the Brave and Bold, Poison Ivy, that's a Batman book. Nightwing, Batman book. Catwoman, Batman book. Joker, Batman book. Oh, now we finally got to Superman, Action Comics. Those are 2. There's another Superboy, Adventure Comics, Superman. Steelworks, that's another Superman. Oh, and now we finally, 14 pages in, we got to Shazam and Green Lantern. So that's the first time we've got something. So, Green Arrow, Unstoppable Doom Patrol. Okay. Harley Quinn. That's another Batman. Spirit World. Doesn't look like a Batman book, but hey, there's Batgirls are in it. The Vigil. Don't know that one. Titans. Okay. Cyborg. Okay. Flash. Okay. Wonder Woman. Okay. And now we're back to Harley Quinn. Batman Incorporated, Tim Drake Robin, Batman White Knight, the Riddler. Yeah, it's all Batman. It's like 80% Batman or Batman related books.
Let me ask you, Dave, as someone that works comics, you've delved into this on a longer basis. I mean, I don't know. We probably have been into comics about the same time, I would say, because I don't remember a time I ever didn't read comics except for a short span. And, it's just like about 5 years where I really didn't. But I've always been into comics. But you're more up to date, I would say. Why do you think it is DC relies so heavily on one freaking character? I mean, and you can even say that in the films.
He sells, period. That's it. I mean, he sells. No one. I mean, you can put out 20 Bat books a month, and that's it. I mean, everything else is just confetti, because it just sells.
That Batman is crazy.
Yeah. It's like the guys who don't read comics, but they have Batman all over their car. Or they might have a Superman logo or something, but everyone knows Batman. Okay, but when was the last time you read a Batman book?
Okay. Look, fair point. But how many people use the Punisher logo but have never read a Punisher comic book?
I want to rip them off their cars because they've taken it. They've taken a symbol. and used it for their own bullshit.
And that was said even by the creator of the Punisher.
Oh God, he hates it.
And I want to point that out to the point to where, for anyone that doesn't know, there's a moment in, I believe, Civil War, correct?
I believe, because
the cops Civil War. The cops
on their guns.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we love you, man. Look," and Frank Castle literally grabs one of them up, shoves him up against the car, and it's like, if you need someone, or if you need a role model, I'm not it. You have one. His name is Steve Rogers. And that's right. I want everybody to realize that. If you ever see a cop sporting the Punisher symbol, he's probably a piece of shit. Cops should be sporting Captain America's shield. Yep. That's what it should be.
Protect and serve, not punish.
Yeah, not I swear to God, I wish I had my gun in my hand. Sorry. Not just be like, yeah, I'm down to punish. No, it's supposed to be
what a cop does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be about honor, liberty, and justice, which again is Steve Rogers. It should be Captain America's shield, not a fucking Punisher skull, you numbskulls. And again, even the creator of the skull agrees with me and Dave. And if you use that at that level, it's because you don't know shit about Frank Castle.
Right. Yep. They've watched too many movies. They've I know there's a Marine squad, that did use that symbol back during the Iraq War. If you're a Marine, there's something a little different about what you're doing. You're not a cop.
Yeah.
Cops shouldn't have that. Yeah. And to have that right next to their thin blue line on their American flag. My mom said something which I normally don't agree with my mother on a lot of things, but she said the flag is not a coloring book. You're not supposed to put a different color on there to represent who you are. The flag represents everyone. Now that's coming from a naturalized citizen from Canada who came here to our country. She's like, don't do that to this, to the flag. Shouldn't be a blue line, shouldn't be a red line, shouldn't be an extra, yellow line or whatever someone's using. It's not black and white. It's not gray. It's not all these other colors. It's red, white, and blue. Anyway, we got soapbox. Let me hop off my soapbox.
We got way political there for a moment because the Punisher got brought in. But in all sincerity, I stand behind everything that was said right there, sincerely. Mm-hmm. But again, if you're a Marine, it's a different story. You know what I'm saying? Because you are you're in a way different situation. If you're a cop that uses the Punisher's skull, do some fucking research, you dumbass. Right. Do some research. Realize what you're glorifying as a cop and what you think. Like you're a fucking idiot. You hear me? Yeah. And I'm probably about to get the show canceled right about now.
Hey, as long as we didn't say the F-bomb in the first 30 seconds or something like that, right? Hey, let's talk comics.
Yeah. I mean,
because we talked a little bit about my Mount Rushmore of writing.
No. Yeah. That's what I wanted to get to.
And then we were going to talk about my Mount Rushmore of art.
Exactly. Right.
So I have to go with the GOAT, the greatest of all time, father of modern comics art, Jack Kirby. You can't. He's number one. People will go, well, his stuff wasn't Jack Kirby. If it wasn't Jack Kirby, we wouldn't have anything. He did he was there before Stan. As much as I love Stan, but Stan, kind of came up with ideas for books. Jack drew the books and he made them dynamic. I mean, heck, he drew the first Captain America punching Hitler. Hey,
it's sad a little bit to me that so many people know who Stan Lee is awesome. I had the pleasure of meeting him when I was 15, and he was like, he literally told his agent to shut up and take a picture when his agent was telling him we needed to go just to get a picture with me, and it was a phenomenal moment to see him, be cool like that. Unfortunately, Jack Kirby had already passed at that point. I never had a chance to meet Jack, but it's just unfortunate to me, especially with the popularity of the MCU. Everyone knows Stan Lee's name.
Right.
And everyone knows the MCU. I guarantee 90% of the people that are fans of the MCU have no idea who Jack Kirby is. And without Jack, you don't have the MCU.
Yeah, you don't have the Fantastic Four. You don't have Black Panther. You don't have I mean, just so many characters. Galactus, Silver Surfer, and his dynamic posing. I mean, up until then, you had people talking like this, people talking like this, and you had here was a punch, there was a punch. Jack was doing stuff where he's putting your hand like right up in people's faces and the big fists. I mean, he really brought that. His stuff wasn't always anatomically correct. He actually he was doing for a show. I mean, he really showed action and stuff happening in the books.
I gotta bring something. Did you know his wife inked a lot of his work?
Mm-hmm.
Like okay. Mm-hmm. God, I hope I'm getting this story right. But I'm 99% positive I have the individual right. But Laverne Krasinski got put into a headlock by Jack Kirby, because Jack was thinking Laverne was someone else. And you can check out Laverne's interview for this full story from Laverne. I am 99% positive. I think it's actually even up as a mini quest, in all honesty, if you just want to check that little segment. It is hilarious, dude. Imagine Jack Kirby walking up at you in a convention and just putting you in a headlock, being like, "You still into that MMA?"
Jack had monster hands. His hands were huge. I mean, I remember seeing pictures of Jack, and like his forearms were big. He was I mean, those hands, just all day long, he's drawing. So, I mean, they were muscular hands. God, I couldn't imagine.
Laverne got put into a headlock by him.
Reverse chokehold.
Yeah.
That's great.
All because Jack thought he was someone else that had practiced like martial arts.
Oh, that's great.
He didn't even think it was Laverne. And then Jack's wife came up and was like, thank you for, being cool with him, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a real cool story, as well as like it shows the kind of individual Laverne is, as far as, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of coolness in that story, So I at least go check out the mini quest, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it's up. I'm 99% sure I've got the mini quest up. It's just Jack Kirby puts Laverne in a headlock. And it's fucking hilarious. That's all I can say.
So Jack is, I mean, and he created so much. Like I said, I mean, he did the New Gods. He did the Inhumans. He did, Fantastic Four characters. So many, I mean, monsters and villains great stuff.
If you had a list of everything Jack Kirby had created, it would be pages and pages and pages. I don't know that there's another artist that is credited with more creations than Jack Kirby. I mean, I'm saying this out my asshole for everybody to be clear. Like, I don't have the statistics in front of me. But if I'm not right in that, I'd be real surprised.
Well, I mean, there. Of course, you could always say Rob Liefeld's created more, but that's just because he's found different ways to combine blood with, strike, and with like every other word in the the English dictionary, and created some sort of super team that he's drawn like a third of a book of. He's like, oh, it's my new. Sorry. Oh, great! Now we're not going to get Rob on the show,
dude. Look, I'm trying to get Rob on the show. All right, can you not? Can you not?
Rob's great. Rob's super energetic and exciting to work with and stuff. I was just kind of busting someone's balls. Back to my list then.
God damn it, Dave. When we get Rob, I just want when we get Rob, you can't be on that interview yet, dick. Mm-hmm.
I'd just be like, where's their ankles, Rob? Where's their ankles?
Continue with your list before motherfucker.
Neil Adams. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, Neil Adams was one of the guys in the 60s and 70s that really took over a lot of stuff and really brought legit anatomy to the figures. Up to that point, while you did have guys like Jack who were doing really dynamic stuff and, you know, oversized muscles and everything, Neil Adams brought legit anatomy to the art. So he had my favorite, it would probably be the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, hard traveling heroes stuff. Those guys, the characters, everyone, you know, they looked like, yeah, muscular men, but they weren't, you know, He-Man, you know, crazy shoulders and everything. They were just well-fit people. And so, you know, Neil did a lot of stuff. Now, Neil in the later years, I may not have agreed with a lot of statements he made about the world, but there wasn't any denying that he really brought a level of accuracy, a level of trying to think.
Realism.
I mean, yeah, the realism, but you know, people could actually go, oh, well, that's actually good art. There's actually, you know, strong, some credibility to the art, you know, as far as the work. So more props to him. He also created the first black, you know, superhero, Green Lantern, you know, John
Stewart.
Oh, John Stewart. Thank you. So, you know, he did
I only
that.
always remember that character's name because I love John Stewart.
Oh yeah.
And firstly, again, this is something we brought up in the last, this is something me and Chris brought up, Chris Sotomayor, which you'll be able to check that right after this drops or right before this drops. I don't know. But as far as I'd love to see Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert as president. But that's why it amuses me that there's Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern, who is a phenomenal character. Everything I've ever read by him, I really loved. And then there's Jon Stewart, who should be fucking president, in my opinion, because him and Stephen Colbert would make better president and vice president. And again, I don't care what combo.
And those politicians out there, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't care. I don't care who's president. I don't care who's vice president. Can we just vote them two in and make them do it? I don't care. I don't even care if they want to. Just like I told Chris, just no. You got voted in. Go do the job. It's what the people want. All right.
You do it for 4 years, and then
yeah, like I don't care. No, they're gonna do it for 8 because after 4, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh man, they did a really good job," and we're voting them back in. They're gonna do it for 8, all right? And then we're gonna realize we don't need politicians. We need stand-up freaking comedians in the office.
It's amazing. It's amazing that stand-up comedians are better journalists than most journalists nowadays.
Yeah, John Oliver. Yeah, love him.
Oliver.
He can go next. Yeah, he can go next right after them.
He can't be a president because he.
No, we're gonna switch it. We're gonna switch it because it's fine. All right. Now let's go back to the top 10 and Hal Jordan. And Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern. I flipped that back, but what a terrible.
No worries.
I would have loved to have seen Hal Jordan as opposed to Ryan Reynolds, but that's not Ryan Reynolds' fault. I can't say that it is.
Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, than the Hal Jordan movie. Absolutely.
Well, that was the writer's fault, though, and the director, and that was nothing to do with Ryan Reynolds.
It wasn't Ryan Reynolds' fault, but I like that he
said that. Even he said the costume was stupid.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You did what you could do. You thought you were doing the right things. You know, you did the best that you could do. So yeah, so Neil Adams, you know, up there with, you know, I wanted to put in like, you know. I had a bunch of other guys, you know, Bob Kane and, you know, some guys from 70s Spider-Man books and stuff. But I was like, you know, they didn't make the same influence that Neil did. And in the same way, I'm going to have to throw in this guy in here because whereas Neil did the whole, you know, this muscle is here, that muscle's there. Let's make sure that everything works. Todd McFarlane, Spider-Man, gave a Spider-Man that didn't have any bones. He had rubber bones. And I love Todd's stuff. It brought me into reading more Spider-Man. You know, I mean, heck, he drew the first Venom, and all that stuff. So Todd definitely is the Todd father, as a lot of people call him. Love his stuff.
Wait. Why do they call him the Todd father?
So instead of like the Godfather, the Todd father, Todd McFarlane.
Whatever. I will say, on the note of Todd McFarlane, though, because he's one of the founders of Image, clearly.
Right. Exactly.
Which, him and I couldn't even remember him, Jim Lee. God, I can't remember the full list of
Rob
names.
Liefeld, Eric Larson.
Yeah. Eric Larson, Rob Liefeld. Would love to have all of you guys on the show. I'm a fan of all of your works, from Spawn to Savage Dragon to everything that Wildstorm did. There's an extensive list, and there's a lot of phenomenal work there that at the time wasn't from the big two. Now it's the big three, because they did so much work with Image as creators. They put it on that level. Look, and this is me and Chris got into this. There are so many people that have consumed Image's work that probably don't even know what Image Comics is. Because how many people, like I said, how many people watch The Walking Dead?
Right.
Like that.
I have people come in weekly and they go, "Oh my gosh, they made comic books about The Walking Dead," and I want to punch them. But I'm going, yeah, it came out first. Yeah, dude. Happens every week. Someone comes in, and of course, our first rack at the store, is our Walking Dead stack. And people every week, they're like completely dumbfounded that there's comic books based on the Walking Dead TV show. And I'm like, no, other way around. Started off with the comic. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah. But Todd's women were fantastic. Mary Jane, you can't. Oh my gosh, his Mary Jane back then. Ooh. Yeah, I know. J. Scott Campbell sure can draw an awesome Mary Jane as well. But J. Scott Campbell does covers. He hasn't done any interiors now. Neither has Todd. Todd hasn't done a whole lot of interiors for a while. But right now, Todd's writing 4 books a month. He's got Spawn, King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, and Scorched. So Spawn, Todd's really done a great job, and he's still got his
and not only that,
only $3 a month.
Yeah, not only that, he's writing all those books. He's running a company that changed the toy industry.
Oh, the toy industry is yeah, absolutely.
McFarlane Toys changed the toy industry as a whole. No one look. This is the kind of figures you used to get, right? This is I love you. Like how I got a Killjoy old school 90s figure, by the way, just chilling in the background.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. That's a classic, bro. I don't even know when this is from. It is old as shit, right? So you go from that to things like this, and if it wasn't for McFarlane Toys, I don't think you would have this in existence.
No, you'd still just have the guys who arms the old Kenner Star Wars, where you only had an up and down motion for the arm. It didn't have any rotation.
And I think, and I honestly wonder sometimes do you know what this is? I know you know who it is, but do you know the maker of this?
No, is it a McFarlane toy?
No, it's a More Creations.
Not familiar with them.
That's because they don't exist anymore, Dave. More Creations did a lot of things like Evil Ernie. They did Top Cow figures early on. But More Creations is no longer around. They were a far more artistic figure, but they were very, very limited in articulation. Then you had McFarlane come around, and McFarlane completely changed the toy industry because he's like, oh, you see that cover? I'm going to make it real. Yeah, I'm just going to make it exist in this world. That's what I'm going to do. Speaking of McFarlane Toys.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is a cover of Spawn.
Right.
Like he's
got chains hanging off of him. He's got spikes. He's got things that are removable. Yeah.
I just don't have the guns that he. I mean, I've got them somewhere, but I just don't have them in his hands right now. But this is right off the cover of an issue of Spawn. You know, he completely changed that. And then not only that, he owns a hockey team, if memory serves me properly. I don't know if he still does.
He owns a puppy. What?
He owns a hockey team, or he did at a point.
A hockey team.
Yeah, a hockey team. And then he also is very much trying to get Jamie Foxx and a Spawn movie. And I so hope they do that. But I think it was Chris McDonald. When we were talking with Chris McDonald and Chris Wiseman, they need to realize that the main character in a Spawn movie is the cape.
Yes, the cape that's flapping around the whole time. Yeah, capes were crazy in the 90s.
Well,
I remember Batman and Superman's cape started getting like that too.
but nothing was like Spawn's cape because it was living, it was organic, and that's what kind of killed the first Spawn movie for me. And I understand why they didn't keep his cape out all the time. God knows what that would have cost. But I look now and I'm like, you can do that. I know it's CGI every time that character has to appear. Literally, every time that character is on screen, there has to be CGI with him. Like, on a Hulk level. Because he needs that huge, flowing, just moving around like it could come out and just eat your face.
Yeah. Cape. But that's the norm now. I mean, you watch an Iron Man movie, Iron Man he hasn't wore anything more than maybe some gauntlets on his forearms and maybe a little thing around his neck. Other than that, it's all CGI now. Yeah, I mean, the Doctor Strange movie from last year, you had Black Bolt show up. Black Bolt's costume was completely CGI.
It was?
Yeah, that whole costume was all CGI. He just had those little checker marks all over him. Was wearing one of those gray suits. That whole thing was CGI. Mr. Fantastic, that was all CGI. His costume was all CGI.
They could do the Green Lantern with his CGI costume now, is what you're telling me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take it back to that.
And it won't look like shit. Yeah. But why could... Yeah. Talking about that Green Lantern. That Green Lantern they had in that movie was horrible. Why couldn't you just make the Green Lantern? I've got the Green Lantern in my room. It looks great. You have the little ring you push up against it. The light comes on and glows. I mean, you don't have to have some weird there was a whole lot of mess ups in that movie. Okay, so final guy I'm going to throw on there because I've hit the 60s, 40s to 60s for Jack Kirby, the 70s and early 80s for Neil Adams, 80s to 90s Todd McFarlane. And I'm going to throw a new guy at you. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Daniel Warren Johnson. Daniel Warren Johnson has been on the scene for about 10 years now.
I know that name, but I don't know why.
Okay, so I think the first thing I read from him was called Ghost Fleet, which was a bunch of a trucking company that gets things across the states without anyone know about it, kind of thing. I've got to get some black market stuff. But what really had him splash was that at the conventions, he had an unauthorized Star Wars comic he drew that was called, I think it was like Red 5 or Green 6 or something like that. So remember in Return of the Jedi, there's an A-wing that is losing it and he's flipping around and he goes straight into like one of the capital ships and they're like, put up the shields, too late, and he smashes into it and blows up, and then that thing dives into the new Death Star. He writes the backstory for that pilot. And the artwork, his spaceships are phenomenal. They're just out there. I mean, just amazing detail.
Real quick.
Super kinetic, yeah.
I just gotta say, you've gotten to 4. Wait, no, there's 5 people on Mount Rushmore. No, there's 4. There's a name you left off that blows my mind a little, Dave.
Who?
Really? It starts with an A.
Art Adams?
Alex fucking Ross.
He doesn't... Look, I enjoy his stuff. But Alex puts out a bunch of covers. He puts out maybe a book a year. And I'm going with guys who have really changed the genre is what I was going for. Guys who made a huge influence. So that's why I'm going with Daniel Warren Johnson on my last, because I think I've seen a lot of copycats of his work in the last couple years where people are going, oh, well, so there was a Beta Ray Bill comic that came out a couple years ago. And Daniel Warren Johnson did it. And it was absolutely, so it was like at the end of he did a 5-issue series. He finished up a storyline from a Thor story. And so he goes, okay, I'm going to do this to wrap up that Thor story in the first issue. And then it was a crazy cosmic, run for him. And in that run, he gets in a bar fight and he like clotheslines somebody, with a backwards baseball cap on, Beta Ray Bill. It's freaking phenomenal. That would be the one. So there's Daniel Warren Johnson, buddy. I love his stuff.
Like Thor getting German suplexed by Beta Ray.
Yes!
Right?
Yes! That's what I'm talking about right there.
That's okay. It was funny. He started talking, and I was like, wait a second. Dave recommended
this book. Yes.
I was like, Dave recommended me this comic one day when I was trying to get something, and I was like, dude, I don't need nothing sad right now. And he's like, well, you should get this Beta Ray Bill then.
Because speaking of sad, my cat getting in my cardboard boxes. So, I mean, he's hit me a couple times with some books that really hit the heart. There was one called Murder Falcon that you're like, oh, this is, musician, the harder you play your guitar, the stronger this giant, murder falcon guy shows up, and he's got a big robotic arm and he's just smashing monsters. I was bawling by the end of that book.
Wait. That's hilarious, because correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but that day in the store, because I am a musician, you'd recommended me that. And I was like, dude, I don't. And then you were like, and then you led me to Beta Ray. So you took me from the
you don't want to be down
to the exact same artist.
And then he had a book that came out last year called Do a Power Bomb.
Are there grab man? That's one, because I'm an avid wrestling fan as well. And when I say wrestling fan, I mean I appreciate wrestling. Though I have peeped out some of the WWE recently, and like there are some things they're doing. I'm like, oh shit, they're actually doing wrestling in WWE.
Right.
It kind of amazes me. And it's mainly because like I think it's because they've got guys that like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I want to say El Generico and Kevin Steen so bad because that's what I know them as. I watched them previous to their WWE careers, and they've done amazing things. But I typically watch AEW. But that's a comic I'm very interested in. Has it dropped in graphic novel yet?
Yes, I believe.
Man, well, I'll figure it out this Monday, Dave. I'm just trying to figure out what graphic I want to pick up this Monday with my collection of comics. You know, one thing that we haven't gotten into besides one comic is what's released this month in this month in comics.
Yeah, we haven't quite got there yet, have we? Yeah, we've had some tangents tonight, but that's all right.
Much. Yeah, there's
I think Daniel Warren Johnson is just his phenomenal work. He was whenever I see his stuff, I'm gonna grab it, whether it's a cover or another book.
And having read that Beta Ray Bill, I really can't disagree, man. That Beta Ray Bill is phenomenal. and the art, again, it really fits the vibe of the book, which I think is something that's very important in comics. You know what I mean? You have to have art that fits the story that you're trying to tell, because if you don't,
Yep.
it's not going to work. That's like, again, not to go back to Chris, but you should be able to check this interview either right after This Week in Comics drops, or it dropped right before, I promise. But it'll either about to be to drop, or it'll have done dropped previously. That's something we went into with The Walking Dead, as far as had it been in color, would it have been that successful?
Right now, I mean, they are putting it out in color now, in the deluxe, so twice a month they re-release the originals, and they're putting them out. So we're up to issue 63 or 64. Nice cardstock cover, full color. Usually 3 to 5 variant covers each month, or for each issue, which is a little excessive.
You can't blame them, man. They're cashing in on that Walking Dead money.
Oh, he cashes in hard, because there's guys who get every cover, and so now they're paying $30 a month to get a book that came out 10 years, 15 years ago.
You've read Crossover, right?
Which one?
Crossover.
Yes.
Okay. For anybody that hasn't and wants to read a phenomenal story from Image, do me a favor, skip forward like 3, 4 to 5 minutes, right? Because the fact that the guy killing creators was Negan.
Oh, right.
And how he just, I wish Donny Cates was able to continue that. In all honesty, I know. And Donnie, I'd love to have you on the show to talk that and everything else you're doing. I know you've got some other phenomenal work coming out right now. But the way they played that with the interaction between him and Robert Kirkman.
You piece of shit.
That's like a fine aged wine.
Hell.
Yeah. That was such a fine aged wine, man. The way they played that with the crossover. Yeah.
He took out Kirkman like Negan took out poor oh god, now I forget his name, in issue 100, the kid with the baseball cap. Glenn.
Jesus, you made
when he took out Glenn. Yeah, he took out Glenn. He took out Kirkman the same way he took out Glenn.
But a little worse, really. Like, he gave Kirkman a little bit more than he did Glenn, just because he made both his eyeballs pop, not just one.
Okay. Picks of the month.
Let's get into some comic books for real, because we're like an hour deep into this episode and have gotten into no comics, and we still got to get into Factor's graphic review. I'm about to start with Factor's
comics.
Huh?
We've talked comics.
We've talked a lot of comics, man, but we've only talked one in this month in comics that actually came out this month, that being Bishop War College. If you're into the X-Men for real and you're looking for a jump-off point, like to just jump into the X-Men, and you've seen like Days of Future Past, I think that's a really good one in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. I might be slightly biased because I'm a really big fan of Bishop. Plus, Sean was a pleasure to talk to. Check out his past quests.
But so I have 4 number ones this week.
Wait. Let's start with the X-Men book, since I'm getting on that tip.
Okay. So I guess this is a number 1 too, but it's really the last issue of the Sins of Sinister storyline. We are now 1,000 years into the future from when Sinister, which the way they had it set up was you had the first issue of Nightcrawlers, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, and Immoral X-Men happened 10 years after the events of the Sins of Sinister Alpha issue, which, Mr. Sinister has now infected every mutant that has ever been brought back to life using their ability to come back to life. So it's okay. You get reincarnated, you come back to life, but because they're using Mr. Sinister's cloning techniques, Mr. Sinister has put a little bit of himself in every mutant, and he has flip the switch so they all suddenly have the nice little diamond shape in the middle of his forehead, in their foreheads, and they've got a little bit of Mr. Sinister just running around inside them.
That's kind of terrifying.
Yes. What's more terrifying is that during this whole situation, we find out there are 3 other Sinisters that are out there. You know, Mr. Sinister's got the diamond. There's another Sinister out there that's got a club in the middle of his forehead. And then there's another Sinister out there that has a spade. And then there's another Sinister with a heart. And they're all 4 clones of the original Nathaniel Essex. But all the other ones have gone in different directions to try to be the best thing out there. So we've only been following Mr. Sinister this entire time, but there's other ones out there. There's the one that has the heart, is using religion, is her mode, and it's a female. Note that she goes by the name of Mother Mercy, and she uses religion as her source of getting people to follow her. There's one that went off to an intergalactic location, and he's using alien technology to get his resources. There's another one that uses the resources of humans, and a lot of the anti-mutant groups. He's manipulating them. So there's all these different ones, and they all come to a head over the next 1,000 years fighting for dominion.
So wait, did they just make it to where there are 3 other Sinisters that are canon in the MCU?
Yes, they did.
And
that's been happening. We got introduced to each one of these characters over the last year and a half or so, but you didn't realize who they were, because one of them was just in a big golden ball, like a dinosphere, or Dyson sphere looking thing, and he was from outer space, so you never knew that he was inside. You didn't know it was a Sinister that was inside it, but he was manipulating all sorts of shit and messing with the mutants on Mars in the X-Men Red stories. Then Mother Mercy, she's been messing with Nightcrawler in the Legion of X series, but you didn't know it was her, because she had a mask on, so that mask was covering her little heart in the center of her forehead. So there's all these different characters that we've seen, we just didn't realize who they were, and that's all come fully out over the Sins of Sinister storyline. And over 1,000 years, they've all been jockeying for position. It all comes to a head. But it all happens, and I think it sticks the landing. You have Cain Marco, the Juggernaut, shows up in this. There was at one point in one of the first issues of this storyline where they fired him at like one of the mutants used their telekinetic power and shot him off into space and used him as a bullet to kill somebody. And 1,000 years later, he's made a rotation and comes back around and kills a big monster. And they're like, okay, we've got everything lined up. And they're like, why are we supposed to be here? We should see it in 3, 2, wait, what's that on the register? And here comes Cain Marco. Ah! And he's flying through space because he can't die. He's the unstoppable Juggernaut. And he just has been flying through space for 1,000 years. And he's just, and boom, just plows into something, blows it up. And they're like, okay, the door's open, let's go. And it's this has been part of their plan for an eon.
I feel like he's going to be really mad.
Well, who knows? Because after he blows it up, he keeps on moving because he's going so fast. Hey, cat. Sorry, my cat's trying to get into my D&D miniatures.
Dave's got enough free time to where he paints miniatures. I ain't got enough free time to read the comics I get, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, miniatures and 3D printing and all this other fun stuff. I got to keep my hands busy.
Really? You should print. Can you 3D print a logo if I get you one?
Maybe. I usually just download somebody else's work and just print it. Because I don't know how to actually create.
I just wonder if you could print a nice questionnaire logo. It'd be pretty dope to have one in the background. I'm just
saying. Someone can make an STL of it. I'd be happy to. Yeah, this is a face mask that for a cyberpunk character I'm gonna do at the cons this summer. So I just got done priming it, so I got to paint that up. So,
hey, for anyone out there watching, could you take the logo and make it into whatever kind of format he just said? ST whatever.
STL, yeah. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I don't know if DKB does graphics. I don't know if he can do an STL. I don't know. I'd have to. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Sins of Sinister ends, everything gets reset, because whenever you do one of these big books, a writer's job is to take after you get done playing in the sandbox, you got to clean the sandbox, put all the toys back where they were, but you kind of move something here and there, not too much, but just enough to make sure that the next set of stories, can play. And I think they really threw us for a loop on that last page. I was like, oh, everything's all good. And then this last page.
I think that's something that Marvel is way better about than DC. DC has a problem of just doing a hard reset to where it's just a complete hard reset. And the legacy of DC Comics is, God, I'm gonna piss off DC Comics to where like don't go on the questionnaire. But to where like the legacy just doesn't matter as much. Where Marvel does big events like this, they do a bunch of shit, and then they switch it back to the norm, but then it's just like, but this and this are a little bit screwy from what just happened,
Because I mean, with the X-Men, the dawn of X, with that whole, when Hickman basically said, hey, mutants are immortal now. Mutants can't die. They die, we bring them back. He changed the whole landscape for the last 2 or 3 years with that. At the end of this, that may not be the case anymore. So, and then there's going to be the fall of X's this summer. And obviously what happens at this book is going to lead to, well, will Krakoa still be around? Will they still have their own nation? Will they still be in charge of Mars, their own planet? Are they going to be immortal still? Who knows? So I think they really stuck the landing on this. Art's been phenomenal. The story's been fun. And Mr. Sinister is always a delight. He's just a crazy, jackass who says some weird stuff all the time. And he just always makes me laugh. So I'm going to switch from a Marvel to a DC, because let's keep it fair.
And we need to get through some books.
Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow, is back. You can kill a man, but you can't keep him down. That's the story of Oliver Queen's life. Every time he dies, he thinks he's off to, greener pastures. And he's like, okay, I can leave all that bullshit behind me. And then somehow he keeps coming back. Same thing happens to him again. We thought at the end of the Dark Crisis series that happened last year, Oliver had sacrificed himself once again to save the rest of the Justice League. And he's like, cool, I'm dead. I can go off this mortal coil and everything's going to be fine. He wakes up and he's like, why does this keep happening to me? It's like literally the first page. He's like, why can't I be in hell? I'd rather be dead. And so, but is he in hell? Is he in heaven? Is he on some other planet? We don't know. So ready to see the Emerald Archer back at it.
When your life starts off again and your first words are like, man, why does this keep happening? Why can't I just be in hell?
Why can't I just die?
Yeah, like I just want to be in hell. Like you don't even care if you're in heaven or hell. You're just like, your literal request is, I'll just go to hell. Okay? Whatever. I don't give a shit.
It's like most of us every Monday morning when we wake up to go to work. Why can't I just die? Why can't I just die? So excited for this because the fold out the wraparound cover has really got me excited to see who these characters are that are coming in there. I'm really excited for this Red Canary character. She was introduced in the Dark Crisis series last year. I thought she's a really fun character.
Just to clarify for everyone, that's the comic Dave thought he had time to read, but I actually started the show on time. But then we bullshitted for like 30 minutes to figure out who I was going to make Tony, Sean, Hugh, Mike, and Ander all sketch here on the upcoming PanCon that we've got coming up that you can check out in like a month. So, I don't know. I got a PanCon before that, man. There's a lot of stuff coming up over here on the
QUESTionaire. We bullshitted a little bit and
worked
out some details.
Look, those will be beautiful combinations, and you know it, right? Between those 12 things that we eliminated too, and the artists that we have on hand to combine them.
It's gonna be awesome.
I can't lie.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't lie, man. I tried to get Deck on there, you know.
Declan Chauvet.
Yeah, since he's currently writing that, right? Wait, no. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, and Declan he also does art. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was trying to bring him onto that particular episode because I thought it would be interesting based on what the subject matter is. I mean, I guess I could go ahead and promo it really because we're gonna have a couple different. We're gonna make some xenomorph hybrids over on not the next PanCon, but the one after that, right? Because we'll have a PanCon before that y'all will see, right? There's a lot of stuff coming up, and Factor needs to edit.
So, Dawn of the DC Green Arrow #1. 6-issue miniseries. Pick it up. All of our favorites from the Green Lantern world, Emerald City, should be showing up in that. Now it's Image because DC Image got to do it. Yeah. It's called Junk Rabbit. So dystopian futures are always one of my favorite stories, especially when and what's always happens in dystopian futures. The 0.1% live in the city on the hill, the perfect life, they don't have to work, everything's done for them, and then everybody else rummages through shit. So
wait, we can all relate to it. Wait. Are we talking about the present or are we talking about the future?
Correct.
Hold on, because I swear you just spoke of what's happening now.
And that's exactly what I love about these dystopian futures. Right. They love playing with that, and you go, oh, that's horrible. I can't believe that happened. Oh, wait.
Yeah, wait.
We've got 5 people that own everything in the world right now.
Yeah, for everyone that just like spins on that, there's a reason that I have a track called What Am I? Which is the hook is corporations can't be people. If so, then what am I? Because corporations are literally considered people. And the place where they made your phone, the phone you're probably holding in your hand right now, the phone that I'm recording this podcast on that I will edit on my computer, was made in a place there's probably a suicide net. I want you to be aware of that, right? So this dystopian future that they speak of so often, I don't know that it's the future. Yeah, I don't know that it's the future anymore.
It's here.
Yeah. Just so you all know.
So this one is takes place in the United States, and because where else would the shit fall apart? And we start off with a jackass walking through the junk piles where he shouldn't be because he's one of the tops and he's not supposed to do that. It's illegal for him to leave, but hey, he found a button in the junk pile and he thinks he's going to make money off of it, and of course he's live streaming it too because because that's what you do, but he ends up dying. Was it the junk rabbit that killed him? Who knows? But apparently he's a son of somebody important, so they have to send the cops in. And then we meet our scrappy young, heroes that are in the story that are going to be, that live in the junk piles who are, having to defend themselves against the corporate overlords. And, is Junk Rabbit a friend or foe? Is he a myth? Is he a legend? Is he everybody? Yeah. So that's kind of a really cool, written by Jimmy Robinson. He actually does everything. He does art, he does the writing. So interesting, good art, good story. Makes you sad, makes you happy when people get their heads chopped off because they deserved it. So now let's go with one more publisher, IDW, Saturday Morning Cartoons.
Real quick, I just got to say, I'm sorry for everyone at IDW for the massive layoff that just occurred. Did you hear about this, Dave?
No. No.
We may be getting into this more on a future quest. I've got to hit up a particular individual. I don't know if they even want to speak about the matter, but I wish I could pull up my Twitter right now so I could. IDW just laid off, and
40%.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. 40% of their employees. I don't know exactly the entirety of it, but I do know that I had somebody recently that I connected with that I will be speaking to more about perhaps bringing on a future quest to discuss this, because I feel like it was something sad that happened in the comic book industry, because IDW's got several successful titles. You know what I mean? I mean, for
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is their bread and butter. Yeah,
for one, like The Last Ronin that's dropping right now by Kevin Eastman. Like, this is issue 2. I'll be picking up issue 3 here soon from Dave. You know, I mean,
but yeah, I think when they lost GI Joe and Transformers at the end of the year, I think that really has hurt them significantly.
And that
they
shows,
used to be one.
Yeah, that shows that properties within the comic book industry are very important, because I know for a fact that when Marvel bought Fox, it hurt Dark Horse a little bit. You know what I mean? Because when Marvel bought Fox, Dark Horse lost it. And I mean, if you even want to predate that, when Disney bought Lucas, I should say Disney, not when Marvel, but when Disney bought Lucas and then they bought Fox, that took away some of the greatest properties that Dark Horse had as far as to publish, from all the Star Wars stuff to Aliens to Predator to Terminator to, I'm sure there's more I'm missing, but I would say those are the main 4 that they lost as a company. So it shows that properties are very important within the comic book industry, and the effect they can have on a company when they lose something.
Yeah, absolutely. And they lost the GI Joe and Transformers last year, and we have no idea where those characters are going to go. Every indication in 2022, the beginning of 2022, the idea, everyone was speculating that it was Robert Kirkman's Skybound publishing was going to take over for it, as Skybound as part of Image Comics, but it's been radio silent since then. So we have no idea. The last I've heard, and being a GI Joe fan, I've got my Arashikage clan tattoo. I've got my GI Joes up here behind me. I'm a huge fan, and I have guys come in every week and they're like, Dave, tell me what's going on with GI Joe. And I'm like, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. There's nothing out there. There's no news. The last I heard, when GI Joe 300 ended in November at IDW, it ended and said, hey, but Larry Hama, fans, Larry Hama's still writing. He's just moving on to a new duty station. He's going somewhere else. And we're hearing, the last I heard was he's working on issue 303, writing issue 303. Well, but where? But no one knows. There was speculation that it was some small upstart comic book company that said, "Oh, we'll pay Hasbro a whole bunch of money for GI Joe and Transformers, and we'll write these books, we'll publish these books." But no one ever heard of this company before, and but Hasbro was like, "Cool, we'll take your money," and Hasbro took the money, but where's it at? Yeah, so properties and licenses are huge, and it's
and
it's a shame.
Especially when you're dealing with a company the size of Hasbro. I
mean,
this company
Hasbro's made some mistakes, a lot of mistakes recently.
Well, but I mean, they're also a very large company. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, when you're dealing with a company that large, clearly mistakes are bound to happen because it's
they're greedy.
I mean, yeah. In all sincerity,
they made some greedy mistakes. You know, they almost hurt their most famous brand, which is the brand I was going to talk about here, Dungeons and Dragons.
Wait. Now, by that, do you mean the film that just dropped?
Actually, I'm referring to the 1983 cartoon Dungeons and Dragons. This was the cartoon I watched when I was a kid in the 80s. The game had just become popular, you know, throughout the Midwest. But just after this series came out in cartoon form, the Satanic Panic started in the US, where, oh no, our kids are going to play Dungeons and Dragons. They're going to start worshiping Satan, and all sorts of shit went wrong. My parents had no problem with me watching this cartoon until someone came to our church and started talking about it. And suddenly, all the dice in our house had to disappear. All my books disappeared. So, because, you know, that's of the Satan, you know, that's devil stuff. So it warmed my heart when IDW put these out a couple last year for G.I. Joe and for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They put out their Saturday morning cartoons, stories. So the art and style are done like the Saturday morning cartoon that we grew up with. G.I. Joe's looked just like it was a G.I. Joe cartoon from back in the day. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, same thing, looked like the old Turtles cartoons. The art inside does not match the cartoon, but the characters all match the cartoon very well. And it's our favorite little bunch of high schoolers who got sucked into a time warp when riding the Dungeons and Dragons roller coaster at the local carnival, and they ended up in the strange world of Dungeons and Dragons, and they're always trying to find their way home. So there's also, they give a nice description of each character. There's Bobby the Barbarian, is the girl that's the acrobat. There's the magician that can't cast any spells properly. All those different things. There's the high school jock that, does no wrong as the archer. There's the kid that's got a shield and is the big scaredy cat and doesn't want to help except for save his own ass.
Personally,
but it's great stuff.
Thank you, Dave, for just adding a new question to the questionnaire. Right? And by that, I mean the pre-show questionnaire, not the actual quest that we go on, which hopefully we'll have that website up and running soon. It's a work in progress. I promise you there's a lot of back things we have to log to make sure when we drop it, it's like, hey, look, all of this. Because, we've done around 50 episodes respectively within everything right around there, whatever. I don't bloody well know. I stopped numbering them because I don't give a shit enough to be egotistical about the number of episodes. They're just there, okay? And that's what it will be. They'll just be there. But as far as the pre-show questionnaires, you just added a question, which is, what comic book world would you most like to live in? Because you just said they were going into the Dungeons and Dragons world. So let me ask you, Dave, what comic book realm would you most prefer to live in? Mind you, you're doing it as a regular ass person, not a superhero, you're just a fucking serf.
Okay. I want to go into the world of Menage a Trois. It is written by our friends Giselle, art by Giselle Agassi. It is a fantastic urban love story taking place in Canada. And for some reason, everybody in Canada just likes to bone. It doesn't matter who it is or what it is. That's where I'm going to go.
Okay, well, if we're gonna bring up
and no one's
Giselle,
superheroes, and the main characters work in a comic book store. I already do that.
Which hopefully we'll have her up on an upcoming quest, man. I really would like to bring her on the show. I gotta bring up that man Tim Seeley, as well as Tony Fleets, who's currently writing Local Man. Issue 3, issue 3 is dropped, correct?
Issue 3 came out this week.
Yeah,
I read it last night.
You got no idea how much shit Dave has got waiting for me up at the shop. It's kind of annoying that I don't have it right now, but I'll be getting it here in a couple days. But so you've got that dropped by Tim Seeley, right? Local Man, which we reviewed in the past in a couple past episodes, and both of us highly recommend because it's a very interesting superhero story. But that isn't the Tim Seeley book that I want to get into. So, Dave.
Hack Slash?
No, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's still running some Hack Slash because it's phenomenal. But that's not the Tim Seeley book I want to get into either. Come on, man. It just came out this week.
Oh. Sorry. Money Shot.
Jesus, bro. Sorry. Come on. Keep up with the conversation.
Money Shot comes again. Yeah. Hell yeah. That is on the list.
You had too many Guinnesses over there?
Maybe. I've had a couple Guinness. I am empty, so I need another, but probably call it on that. So Giselle Lagasse is doing the art for that now, who again, aforementioned, did the Menage, I think it's a Menage 3, Menage a Trois, however you want to put it.
She also did
have art by her.
She also did a custom piece for Dave that you can see right now. All right. Yeah, look at that. You see how you just got to see that custom piece by Giselle?
I love it.
Yeah, that Dave's got hanging up in a wall somewhere. I just had to show it to y'all, So we're gonna make that appear. It's right here. Right? If you just imagine, you might be able to rub Domino's butt.
I'm gonna see if I can get your picture.
But on the Money Shot, man, which is another thing I think it's very interesting in all honesty to see. I mean, because Tim Seeley, as we've discussed on the last month's episode, is somebody who I really feel helped redefine the horror genre within comics. Mm-hmm. From Hack Slash to a number of other things he's done. And now he's coming about doing this. He's bringing about classic characters of Cherry Tart. I have that name right, do I not?
Cherry Pop Tart was her.
Cherry Pop Tart
name before Kellogg said, "Hey, you can't name this character Pop Tart." Yeah.
So now it's Cherry Tart because Kellogg was like, "We will sue the absolute crap out of you. You will have nothing, Giselle. Fix the name." So she had to fix the name. I kind of want to talk to her about how that was, having Kellogg's approach you, being like, "Listen."
Well, that happened back in the 70s or the early the late 70s is where Cherry Pop Tart came from.
It's still got to be a funny story, but I'd love to see her introduced into Money Shot, and then, like I said, Tim just writing a story that is very much different from a number of other things he's wrote. Though this is technically Money Shot comes again. There is a previous Money Shot, which I hope you have the graphic novel for, Dave.
I actually don't. It's on my pool. I'm gonna be picking it up this week.
I don't mean
because I definitely need to read it. Oh, we definitely have it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we have it at the store.
God, I gotta figure out which graphic novel I'm gonna pick up this week. I'm like, it's too many. It's like 4 that I just want to grab, but whatever.
Yeah.
If we've got that website up, do me a favor, click the donate button so I can read more. Help me and Dave read more comics so we can review more for y'all to let y'all know what you should read.
And the last thing on my list this month, we've got a new Guardians movie coming out. So, of course, we've got a new #1 Guardians. The Galaxy came out this month as well. This is a the team that you're expecting with Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, and then we've got Nebula joining us because, hey, why not? Now that she's basically a Guardian in the MCU, let's have her Guardian in here. And we've also got Mantis joining us. Now, she's not the Mantis. The Mantis we have in the comics is very different from the Mantis from the movies. And this Mantis is even more different from the ones from previous comics. This one, she's a little more together, maybe. I'm not sure how to put it. Or maybe she's not. I'm not really sure on her. She seems to have different personalities. And she like changes personalities. And when she changes her personality, she changes form. Almost a Crazy Jane kind of thing. But I don't know if it's a mental projection she's giving to the people around her to make them at ease. Not really sure, but she's got a giant fucking robot arm and she punches shit with it, and it's really cool. So that's pretty awesome. And it's a very this one's a very Wild West situation. They're showing up in a town. They're like, hey, you got to move. We've got to get all you people out of here to safety. And the people of the town are like, well, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stand up to the Marauders. And they're like, it's not the Marauders that we're trying to save you from. And it looks like there's one of their old friends has turned into something horrible. So the art's fun. Some people don't like it. I've had some arguments with some people at work. Some guys have said, oh, it looks too simple. But I think Gamora looks great. I don't see there being any problem with that. They said there's not enough detail in it. But I think there is plenty of detail, and characters in this look great. So I don't care what they say.
Can I say, as far as that, man, I feel like that's an issue where you're probably trying to get more young readers on, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Right. So yeah, so I feel like you don't want it to make it over detailed, because in that, if you're trying to get younger readers, you might they look, and this is something I feel like a lot of people lose. Like, comics are for everyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no age range on comic books as a whole. There are comic books that I certainly wouldn't expect you to give a child. If you do, you might want to check your IQ right over there, right? Because like Dave's said on previous episode, I think you said it on previous episode, I know it's a conversation we have, you got like 10, 12-year-olds walking up trying to buy Crossed, and that's a problem.
I'm not gonna let them do that. No.
That's a problem, man. That's like, if you are an adult or you're the parent of that child, you need to review the comics that your child is reading, because there are comics that your child shouldn't read. There are comics that are totally acceptable for all ages.
There's comics I shouldn't read, but I do.
Like what?
Oh, well, there's they say the guilty pleasures are out there. I got one manga that I read. It's called it's called Succubus and Hitman. It's got a whole lot of naughty, but then you also have things like Sweet Paprika. That's a super naughty book, but I would say 90% of the people who buy that book that come into my store is soccer moms. The kids are buying some Pokemon cards, or going over and grabbing their Sonic the Hedgehog, and the mom's like, "Oh, naughty book."
And thank you for proving my point in that exact statement, Dave.
Yes,
comics, they're for everyone, right? From the old man that's still reading cartoons because he read it back in the day, to the soccer moms that want, what was it?
Sweet Paprika.
Sweet Paprika, right? You should recommend Swingers to them too. I'm sure they'd enjoy that. You know what I mean?
See, that one's just a little too on the nose for them. Sweet Paprika's a little cartoony. It's got devils. It's got angels. It's kind of cute, and there's just like 1 or 2 pages each book that have a little bit of, the little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more kind of thing. Whereas Swingers and Hearthstone is straight up, bondage and S&M and I mean, we're not talking like wax on the nipples or anything, but actually they probably do actually.
Fair enough. And for everybody, for the creators, we'd love to have you all on and discuss that further. I mean, we've had Matt Hawkins.
Absolutely.
On. We've had Matt Hawkins on though, which he is the writer of Swingers.
Yeah.
But
which is selling really well. We put some of their stuff on our cool kids corner, our hot buys. We was like, oh, let's put these over here. Let's see if anyone. And as soon as we moved them over to a different location, people have been seeing it, and it's been flying off our shelves.
But then you even have things. So like if you're a fan of Alice in Wonderland or Sherlock Holmes, you've got Sherlock Holmes and a Wonderful Conundrum. Did you get a chance to read that, Dave?
I have not had a chance to read that. I've read, since I saw you, I've probably read 15 books this week. Yeah. Ow. Damn it's on there. It's on the list.
Check it. Like you'll be able to see Chris's interview here soon. We'll have Chuck coming up in a quest where we'll be getting in depth into that, man. It was a wonderful book and a great take on Alice in Wonderland with a Sherlock Holmes twist in it. I think it was done really well as far as how he played those characters into the Sherlock Holmes world. You know what I mean? So you've got that, and like I said, literally everything in between. I mean, there's not a subject matter that is not covered in comic books. I want to really nail that through y'all's head. And comic books promote literacy. Again, like if your kids like Pokemon, get them some Pokemon comics. The hell is wrong with you? There's
absolutely get them reading.
Yeah. How many Pokemon comics come out on a monthly basis, Dave?
You get the mangas, but we get at least one manga for them a month. Easy.
Okay. See?
So, and they're like $8 and they're like 60 or 70 pages. That's a lot of bang for your buck.
It'll make your kids smarter. It'll make them have better cognitive skills throughout life. And look, when Donald Trump ends up as president and the police are walking around with the Punisher symbol on their fucking police cars, then cognitive skills is obviously something that we're lacking at this moment. And oh my God, absolutely. I just pissed off the right wing so much.
As one former right winger, fuck them. They're losing in everything. They're not adapting. They're not becoming. They're heartless bastards. I can't stand them. I can't believe I was ever considered myself in that party. I mean, I just saw a woman in a state representative said she would rather her trans daughter commit suicide than get care. What? Fuck these people. They're monsters. Right? They're monsters. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Look, this is why I love the comic book community. I want to point out. Because there's all types within the comic book community. And sure, like any other group, there's going to be some assholes. But I'd like to think within the comic book community, we're like to stamp out those assholes. You know what I mean? I mean, in all honesty, like it's like, okay, dude, that's fine. Go read comics, but your opinion, shut up with it. Right? Like, really. This is this is why, like, again, I gotta run a bit of promo at the end of this show, Dave. I just can't help myself.
Sorry for right. I really went down that path. I apologize.
Well, it's I know you did, man. That's why look, I want to let you all know you should be able to check out Chris's interview. Probably right now, I'm gonna say, right, because I got
You're gonna have the link is right here somewhere.
Look, they're on they're on the YouTube or the Spotify or the Amazon or the whatever, and it just dropped right before this, or it will drop right after this. It's gonna be right before because I have to edit this, and that's already done and edited. Whatever, it's a process. And then we got Chuck coming up, we got Scott, we got Chrissy Wiseman coming up, we got Jason Sylvestre, which I pronounced his last name properly because even though it don't look like it, I promise. Me and Jason talked about it. It's like it's kind of funny because, as you know, Dave, I'm a expert at mispronouncing people's names, right? We got Mike McLean, right, coming up. We got obviously, what me and Dave do over here this month in comics, and we got a PanCon coming up with Marco Lesko, Tony Felice. Wait, no, Marco Lesko, David Whalen, Jason Sylvestre, Nick Marakovich, and no, see, it ain't Tony because Tony's gonna be on the one after that. I don't remember, man, because I can't access that chat right now because all of this has been madness. But I love it, and I love that I got Dave from Comic Book U, who honestly has helped me excessively into being able to dive back into comics to the degree that I wanted to. He doesn't understand, Dave. You don't understand some of the references I've got coming in some of the music, right? Right? Because like Erica, I'm just trying to save the children. That's all I'm trying to do. All right? Because it ain't about shit else. If that's not what you're worried about in the ultimate goal of things, if you don't look and think the children are important, then you, sir, are probably an asshole that sports a Punisher skull. And I'm not cool with that because the world doesn't need Frank Castles. It needs Wade Wilsons. You know I'm right, Dave. You know I'm right.
I thought we were going for the.
No. I just wanted your opinion on that.
Waiting for you to do.
No. I just wanted your opinion on that, bro.
We out.
But no. Look, between Frank Castle or Wade Wilson, who's better for the world?
Oh, definitely Wade. Wade is a loving dude. Wade is a wonderful human being.
Yeah. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Makes flapjacks.
And
he takes care of his kid.
Son of a bitch, Dave, I lost my thumb again.
I can make you a thumb.
Yeah.
I can make you a thumb. I can make you a 3D thumb.
Dude, I've got one somewhere. I just misplaced it because, I had to have Harrison Ford pop up, to show his spot because, that's about to happen, right? And hey, on the next month in comics, we will definitely be getting into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes.
We got to keep up with the MCU. I feel like we missed a DC film, though.
Shazam?
What'd you think?
I didn't see it.
Seriously?
No, just didn't get a chance. And then the reviews came back and was a little. I really liked the first one. I really liked it a lot. I just don't know what happened with this one. I thought the marketing was way off. I thought it just did. It's in the middle of this huge upheaval going on over at DC at Warner Brothers. And I think so.
And it's the fact. It's the fact, in my opinion, a lot that The Rock kind of was like he was trying to make Black Adam a spotlight when technically he's supposed to be the antagonist of Shazam. And it was a whole thing, but whatever. I enjoyed the film as a whole. I would have liked to have seen Black Adam pop up to be the antagonist of Shazam, but it didn't happen. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, like, subscribe, give it that thumbs up. Make sure you check out all the quests we got coming up, man, because there is a lot. I got Heather Antos coming up. I'm looking forward to so many of the quests we got coming up. Everybody that has been on the show has been an absolute pleasure, right? So, like I said, click that bell and all that good shit. Have a good night, y'all.
All right.
This month in comics.
I got you covered.
Well, what you got?
It's a fantastic book.
Damn it. What did you do?
I'll find you a book for it.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.